After months of appeals from President Zelensky, Joe Biden has finally agreed to allow Ukraine to use its American-supplied long-range missiles to strike military targets deep inside Russian territory. The permission follows Russia's biggest coordinated attacks on Ukraine for months, leading to 10 dead and many cities in blackouts. One of those with no power is Odessa. Alexei Goncharenko is a Ukrainian MP who is there. Alexei, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Does it feel like Russia is stepping things up? Does it feel like this is yet another significant turn in the war?
It's hard to say, but definitely Russia continues its campaign of terror of civilians, and that is their war playbook. That is their style of warfare. Well, that's what they're doing already. It will be the third winter, and they're starting to destroy again energy infrastructure to make life unbearable in Ukraine. So it's nothing new, but it's very painful. I'm from Odessa and I'm here now, and there is no electricity for almost 24 hours, no, even more already. No water supply, no heating in big part of the city. So it's difficult. And we definitely, in this light, we definitely super welcome finally the decision to give us permission to attack military objects deep inside Russian territory. So that's great news. But the question is, we need not just a permission, we need the missiles to do this. So will we be provided with enough of them to make a difference? I can't tell for the moment. Also, the question is open. Biden administration is leaving. What will be the position of Trump administration on this issue? That's the question. But in any way, at least we will have some time and some possibility to hit what should be hit.
And do you think what should follow now is also you being given Storm Shadows from the UK, being able to use those missiles in Russia as well?
Yeah, as we know, there is Storm Shadows from the United Kingdom and Scalps from France, which is the same missile but with different names. And yes, we can use again them. But again, the question is how many we will receive. Because, like, for example, it was, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, there was an announcement from French Minister of Defense who said, good news, we are sending another 10 missiles to Ukraine. I mean, we are very thankful for all support. But you should understand that this is the biggest war from the Second World War. 1 million people involved in direct fighting, more than 1,000 miles of front line. What is 10 missiles? I mean, it's nothing.
Reports of North Koreans increasing their involvement. The US say they could be up to 10,000 on the border at the moment. There's some reports it could even go as high as 100,000. How much of a concern is the arrival of North Korean troops to the theatre of war?
Shows that what we said is the Third World War. The North Koreans are in Europe killing Europeans, Ukrainian army. I mean, well, and we are saying, oh, shouldn't escalate. Oh, let us think of what to think about. North Koreans already here. Who next? Iranians? Chinese? What Europe is waiting for? Why, and with all respect, even the United Kingdom, who was leading for a long time, but why UK was waiting before United States will decide to give permission to attack deep inside? No, we need UK to be leading the effort, and we need to stop this axis of chaos. Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China standing behind them. They are acting. They are active. They are not going to stop.
Well, it's an interesting question, that Alexei, because your point is that the escalation is already happening, so there's no point in fearing it. I suppose someone on the Trump side of the argument would be we are against a world war. We don't want to be fighting China and North Korea. We don't want that scale of war to become overt, and therefore Trump wants to shut this down. That's what he said. He wants to shut down this war as soon as possible for all sorts of reasons. What that means for people like you, for Ukrainians, it is not at all clear.
it's not at all clear, but I mean, we are happy. We want this war to be shut down. We want this war to be stopped. Who else suffers more from this war than we? The question is how. And the question is, will we shut down it with a peace or with a ceasefire? That is a big difference, right?
Mm.
So I believe that Donald Trump wants victory in Ukraine because he loves victories. He hates to be a loser. So he doesn't want definitely to have his own Afghanistan, how like a Biden had in the beginning of his term. So he wants victory here because it will be his victory. But what is the victory for him?
Yeah, well,
And I'm not sure that the victory for him is the same that is victory for us.
well,
And this is unclear.
yeah, well, that's got to be the hope of Ukrainians, that the two coincide. Victory for Trump and victory for Ukraine are one and the same thing. Alexei, good to speak to you. Stay safe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Alexei Goncharenko there. He's in Odessa, where there's been no power for 24 hours, saying very, very clearly, you've heard this argument from Ukrainians before, but this is already World War III. North Koreans are killing Europeans in Europe. How is that not an example of the war expanding out of just simply between Ukraine and Russia?
I thought Alexei sounded very different to what he normally sounds. He
Yeah.
sounded incredibly tired.
He did, and downbeat, didn't
Yeah.
he? And how this ends, because and you tell the big uncertainty in this is Trump, isn't it? Because Trump wants victory. But is Trump victory and Ukrainian victory the same thing?
And he hasn't said anything yet about this, has he? But there is someone within his administration saying that this is ridiculous. Why on earth is President Biden doing this?
Yeah. And if he suddenly withdraws these weapons, having the Biden escalated, and what happens then? But I hadn't really up my mind. I know we've been reporting North Korean involvement, but the idea of 100,000 North Korean troops, and are they there with the consent of China? In which case, you've got all sorts of nuclear powers engaged in hot war in Europe. It's a terrifying prospect.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought this morning when I looked at that at around about 3:40 a.m. I thought, oh, good morning.